Alright, let's go ahead and talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer. The classic slasher is finally back, new faces, new secrets, and a killer who's not done playing games. Whether you're a fan of the original or you're new to this series, don't worry, I got you covered with the spoiler-free review. But the real question is, does this one live up to the legacy, or is it dead on arrival? Let's break it down. Alright, let's be real here. The 90s were a great time to be a slasher fan with the mystery of who the killer is. This isn't Jason Voorhees, this isn't Michael Myers showing up, we know who the person is, there's not really any mystery there. But with I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, those type of movies, there was mystery to it. And they had this formula that worked. Were they good movies? Not always, but they had a formula that made it interesting and got people watching. And that's what this movie does. It doesn't take any big risks or any big swings. It just keeps it very safe. It uses the same formula that the original had and just brings it right over to this one. So if you like that, chances are you might like how this one is structured. Now the setup for this movie is very similar to the original. It's not the exact same scenario, but it's very, very similar, where there's this group of kids doing something stupid on the windy road, something bad happens, someone ends up dying, and now they have to deal with the decisions that they made during that night. So it doesn't reinvent anything, and it's basically the same setup. Now as far as the acting goes, I didn't have any big issues with the new cast. The line delivery that some of them gave at certain points in the movie were a little bit, and it kind of took you out of it. And I think that's more so the writing than the actual acting, but either way, there are parts in it where certain characters say certain things and it just didn't really jive with me. The big part, and it kills me to say this, the worst part of the acting in this movie has to go to my boy, Freddie Prinze Jr. I was not buying anything he was selling anytime he was on screen. I don't remember him being that way in any of the movies that I've seen him in the past, but it did not work for me in this. Now, as far as the character dynamics in this movie, I thought that was one of the more strong points of it. It's nothing great, but it is one of the stronger points where all these characters are in it, new characters, the legacy characters, and I liked how they all played off of each other, whether that's the legacy characters with their experience or the new characters who are nervous, they're scared, and how they react to these situations, plus all their different personalities. They're young, they're kids, so you can kind of expect to see different personalities, and some of them you like, some of them are kind of annoying, and I just liked the dynamics between all of them. Now, did the legacy characters, Ray and Julie, really matter in this movie? Yes and no. Without giving too much away, they are mostly there to mentor the new cast. What they went through in the past, they're able to kind of guide these characters and give them pointers of how to survive what's going on. But at the end of the day, they could have written this movie just slightly different, for the most part, to get rid of these characters. They weren't needed. They were just basically there, I feel like, to get people in the seats. To get me, someone who watched the original when I was way too young to watch it, but I grew up with that. I wanted to see these characters back, and that is one of the things that did draw me in. And I will admit, if they weren't in it, I don't know if I would have go see this movie. I don't know if I would have gone to see it premiere night and made a video for you all on the channel. I really don't know. But I do know that because they were in it, that was one factor that did get me in. But at the end of the day, they didn't need to be in this movie, unfortunately. I Know What You Did Last Summer could have been a train wreck, right? This movie could have been absolutely unwatchable, and that's actually what I thought I was walking into, but they do a few things pretty good, namely the tension. The tension in the slasher movie was used really well. Not all the time, but there was a lot of times where I actually got a little bit nervous. Is the fisherman there? When is it gonna pop out? What's going on? Like, stuff like that. Surprisingly, it got my heart racing a little bit because of the tension and the build-up to the actual fisherman being revealed. And the chase scenes, once he is revealed, they're pretty good. Nothing outstanding. Nothing about this movie, I think, is outstanding. But they do a few things that make it really well. Once again, the tension, the chase scenes, and even the kills in this movie, nothing fantastic. But you feel it a little bit whenever something happens. So, I mean, it's used effectively, and it's a lot better than I thought we were gonna get. Now, one of the things that this movie does so well to put me back in that 90s slasher feeling, that vibe, is the fisherman sometimes has Superman strength, like unreal strength. Other times, he'll get knocked down and then he's gone. He's gone in a millisecond, and he's 30 yards across the set over there. It's so weird, it makes zero sense across the board, But that's kind of the charm of those 90s movies, and that's kind of the charm of this movie. So do you need to see the original to go and see this movie? No, not necessarily, but if you are a fan of the original, if you have seen the original, there are a lot of callbacks to that original movie. There's even a dream sequence. I won't give anything away, but there's a dream sequence in this movie that is hugely related to the original and what happens to one of the characters in the original. So while you don't need to see the original to see this one, there is going to be a lot there for you if you have seen it, and you're going to get a lot more out of it if you've seen the original movie. And as far as what didn't work for I Know What You Did Last Summer, I gotta say the humor. The humor was a big hit or miss whenever it did pop up, and Madeline Klein's character, that was basically the only comic relief that you get in the movie. So when her entire character is built on doing that, it gets old. It gets old pretty quick, and especially if you don't like that kind of ditzy character and just everything that she's bringing and how that character is written, if you don't like that, the humor isn't gonna save it. Like, you're not gonna like anything about that. For me, it was about half and half. Towards the back end of the movie, I was kind of done with it, especially for the rest of the characters. For the characters in general, like, I started to care about them at the beginning, and like I said, the dynamic between all of them, I did enjoy. I really legitimately enjoyed that of this movie. But characters by themselves, I did not enjoy. So when they start getting picked off one by one, and there's less and less of them as the movie went on, I really didn't care about them. So as the movie went on, I did not like the humor, I did not like the characters, and really the biggest thing that I did not like about this movie is the ending. I'm gonna say, without giving anything away, this has the Scream 6 effect. That movie, I went to go see it, I love Scream 6. About 80, 90, 95% of the movie, I was in it, I was locked in, I loved what they were doing. They lost me. They lost me hard in that last 15 minutes of that movie. Same thing happens here. The exact same thing happens where I wasn't as invested in this as I was in Scream 6, but I was invested. I cared. I wanted to see who was behind the fisherman, who the killer was. The reveal did not do it for me. The reasonings did not do it for me. Nothing about that ending did it for me. So that really brought the movie down, where I felt like we were getting even though it was generic, we were getting a decent slasher film in 2025 based on a movie back in 97. So I was pretty happy with what was going on. But that ending did not do it for me. So even though there are a few things about this movie that really bring it down for me, overall, I did have a good time. I did enjoy myself for the majority of this movie. It's not the best slasher or legacy sequel that we've gotten over the last few years, but it is a serviceable legacy sequel. Not everyone's gonna jive with that ending, myself included. But there is something there, I think, for everyone. And if you're a fan of slashers or just want to feel that 90s slasher vibe, I think you're gonna enjoy yourself. If you aren't a fan of the 90s whodunit or even just slashers in general, this is not gonna be the movie that wins you over and makes you a fan. So just keep all of that in mind. So as far as a grade goes, I'm gonna have to give this movie a C+. It does enough things decently well for me to make me enjoy the movie and enjoy what I saw, but it doesn't reinvent anything. It doesn't do anything exceptionally well. And I don't think this is gonna be a movie that people look back on fondly like they do the first movie. Now, if you've seen the movie, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know. And if you haven't seen the movie yet, but you're going to, and you need a quick refresher of the franchise, check out my recap of the first two movies right here. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.